Yo, what up? This is Mike Brown.
This is Wayne Bennett.
And this is the art of letting go.
Letting go. Letting go.
And that's just, I think, like we were saying before, intimacy is reserved so much for sexual intimacy that we don't realize that now we need intimacy just on all different levels. We need to connect. We need to be close to each other to be able to heal and get through whatever the stuff that we're going through. And sometimes we need to be more intimate than just how you feel. You all right? Yeah, I'm all right. All right, I'll see you next year. It's like having real conversations and talking about what's going on. And those are hard conversation starters when, you know.
So let's talk about that a little bit. We were talking about before we were on the air. I'm gonna say that as often as I can on the air. Y'all go hear me say that a lot. But anyways, before we were on the air, we were talking about relationships and how relationships with the opposite sex, or just individuals that were same sex, individuals we're attracted to, or whatever, can be difficult in having some of those conversations because of the sexual aspect that comes along with it, right? And I talked a little bit about that before, as far as being attracted to somebody, so being like, I don't know if I should have this much of a conversation because it's kind of making me more and more attracted to you. So I kind of want to dive in and talk maybe a little bit more about that. Mike has some interesting points of view. James and I mean we all kind of had stuff to say, but I'll let Mike lead off on.
Yeah, no, I was listening to what you're saying. It was kind of interesting just because I think about when I am with somebody and you know, I always feel like, and not even whether it's a sexual interest or not, like I really try to be as open as possible. And I don't even know how I've gotten here. I really don't. But I just do. You know, I was thinking just now as you were talking, like there is somebody that I've cried with and barely known this person or anything, but I've shared tears multiple times with this person, and it's not like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, or, you know, I created this space for myself, and this person was open enough to be in my space. So I guess the more open you are, the more you're going to find people that want to be in that space with you.
Mm-hmm. And I definitely know right now I'm not open as much as I was before. I closed up. I think I have become kind of emotionally spent and kind of guarded, going back into my shell a little bit. I can't go all the way back in there because I know that's not me. But I definitely have taken some steps out and then some steps back. Like, man, it feels like it's taking a lot to be open right now. Just being in places where I felt this wasn't authentically where I needed to be. And now I'm working my way back to being open by doing the things that I know, like you said before, work for me. Okay, I know I need to take time to just to be me. Instead of running from this thing to this thing, chasing this dollar, chasing this person, this issue, I need to really just sit with myself and get back in touch with that vulnerable place. Because, man, a lot of times I put myself out there being vulnerable, and I feel like I get slapped up for it. It takes some time for me to get back to that place. Mm-hmm. It's not automatically, all right, I'm here again and I'm open. It's like, man, it's some old scars. You just rip some scabs open. Mm-hmm. It's some damage that's there that I'm healing with, and I'm gonna need some time to get back to the place where I can be vulnerable again in this situation. And so for Mike, for you to be open and vulnerable, it really is like a light for me. Where it's like, okay, I can see, it reminds me what peace and just life brings back to me by being a vulnerable person. So I enjoy speaking with you, and I enjoy being there with your journey and your experience of being open, because it's like, yeah, that's what life was like, being open again. And I understand that it can be a cycle sometimes, like, because I used to kind of beat myself up, man, I should have been more open in that situation. I was like, nah, I just didn't feel it. I gotta be authentic. If I didn't feel vulnerable in that situation, I didn't feel vulnerable in that situation, But my object at the end of the day still is always to be as open as I can, because I know how much peace and how much medicine that is for me in my healing process. But sometimes I just don't feel it.
And that's cool too. What you gonna say?
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's cool too. Like, I'm not saying I'm walking around fucking telling every single person how I feel and shit, but
Hey,
you
bro.
know, there are those moments where you feel it, and it's just like, let me just be real with this person, because, you know, going back to something that you told me a long time ago, like being clear with yourself. And a lot of times when I'm clear with myself, it make it easier for me to be clear with somebody else. Like, oh, this is how I feel. Let me just go ahead and tell this person how I feel, and whether they accept it or reject it, that's not on me. I can't do nothing about that. I just gotta fucking just do it and keep moving.
I think it's important to note everybody individually has their own threshold of openness, and I know that for me, I'm stupid open. Like, I'm too open a lot of the time. I'll just share everything, and I have to find a balance depending on what situation I'm in, on whether or not to be open. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can share. It's almost like when you're working with a client, right? And you're disclosing certain things, but you can't disclose everything about yourself. But you're doing it just to get a little bit out of them, so you seem human to them. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm learning that in different relationships require me to be different. And so I can share certain things with certain people, but I can't share everything with everybody. And I think once you can kind of realize who you can be open with, how to be open in certain situations. Like, being open might not be conversation, you know what I'm saying? It might be me giving you eye contact. I hate looking somebody in the eye when I'm talking to them. I don't like it. It's like, why are you looking at me when I'm talking? But they might need that at that time. And so I think identifying different ways to be open that best suit you in that situation is going to be really important for everybody going forward, especially for me, because I just can't be as vulnerable with everybody all the time like I used to be. Because for a long time, like in high school and in college, I hid a lot of stuff from people. People didn't really know me. Like, they knew like the funny, charismatic kind of dude that I was, but they didn't really know anything else. And then after that, I started to like just share a lot of stuff, and people were looking like, that was a bit much, bro. and so now it's just about finding a happy medium and being happy with, being okay with if I share too much or if I share too little, as long as I felt comfortable and I felt cool with being myself.
And my question is, do you have to find a happy medium, or can you just be you, and whatever comes out of that comes out of it?
I feel like
for me, it's kind of like just trusting
right
yourself and not really overthinking it. Just
right,
whatever moment you're in, feeling comfortable doing that, no matter what the consequences are. So if you feel like sharing just a little bit, then
right,
it's just what it is at that time.
Like, it's not a limit on how open or how guarded you have to be. Like, I feel like you just have to be, and whatever comes of it comes of it.
Right.
I feel like I'm being open with so many people is because I'm kind of attracting those people to me. Like, I'm not attracting motherfuckers that are gonna fucking, hurt me.
Yeah, that's right.
And that goes back to there's been a pause in the programming.
Right. Try to be open when it's done.
Open as a window.
right.
That goes back to that clarity of, okay, do I want to be open in this situation? Do I want to be open? So I think like finding that middle for me is like really being myself and understanding what being open brings to me, and do I want that? Because a lot of times being open has opened up relationships with people that I don't want. And it's like, I don't want to be open in this way because I'm not open to that relationship, because I need to work on my own relationship with something else.
Right.
Because it used to be, if I'm on a train I'm gonna talk to everybody on the train. We're gonna talk about what your mama did, and we're gonna talk about all this kind of stuff. And now it's like, let me get this work done while I'm on the train, instead of trying to open up and connect with everybody. So I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm at a place where I understand that I can connect with people and I can be open with people, but I also understand that I need to spend a lot of time with myself too. Like you said, finding that balance, finding that middle, and really coming into a sense of clarity what that looks like for me. Because like you were saying, growing up always very closed, even to the point where my mama thought I was in the FBI or something. Like, you a secret agent? You don't say nothing. And then coming to a point of where I'm just saying everything all the time and this and that, and now it's kind of like, all right, I'm balancing out, because there's still some things. I know what openness brings me, I know what being closed brings me, so I'm really finding out what I need out of being open and being closed, and balancing those out and moving forward with that. It's an interesting place.
Yeah, I think to go back to when you asked about just being yourself, I think a part of being myself that I've realized is I analyze every situation that I'm in. And so that's just who I am. And so I allow myself to do that, and then I proceed based off of that particular situation. So like I can be one way with y'all, right? Yeah. And then get with a whole different group of people and be a totally different way, and I'm still being me. Right. But I'm just different with that particular group of people. And I think that that's kind of what I meant as far as choosing how to be open with certain, because certain people can't receive things. So I'm at a place where I understand not everybody is ready to have certain conversations. Like I've had friends call me and ask me about, what did you do when you were depressed, and how did you manage this, and how did you manage that? And I might suggest seeing a therapist. I might suggest certain things that they engage in on a day in and day out. I might suggest, but I also understand these are just my suggestions. And if you're not ready to engage in anything that I'm suggesting, I have to be okay with that too. And so it's just about being comfortable with me knowing that I'm open with sharing this with you, even though you might not receive it, because later on it might affect you. And I really be like, I have all of that thought out when I have conversations a lot of time.
Yeah. And like, just kind of piggybacking off what you were saying, for me, I don't have every conversation with everybody. Like, I'm not sitting up telling everybody about, my relationships and shit like that. But at the same time, I do share experiences with people. And, whatever you do with that, you do with it. And it's okay, because it helps me. Like, regardless of if somebody take my advice and use it or not, like, me just sharing that experience for me is very freeing. So, yeah.
It definitely is. That goes back to being alone and being lonely. When you're able to share experiences, you're not just playing the same experience over in your head. You're not just distancing yourself, isolating yourself. You are able, for me, sharing helpful to me, and if it could be helpful to somebody else, that's a plus. Right. So being able to connect myself through experiences has always been a very powerful thing. And sometimes like as of last year, I've had some experiences that were still very painful to me. So I wasn't all the way out of and some stuff is still, I'm not all out of the numbing process.
Are you gonna share?
This is the art of letting go.
But no, a big one was getting a DUI, and that was a big thing that I didn't want to share. Like I shared it more this time than I did the first time, but still, I mean, just the stigma of being a criminal and going through all the stuff that I had to go through and stuff. It was just like, people gonna look at me like this, and I made this mistake. It was hard, but just like, I got a DUI, and that was hard to say. Like, I fucked up, and that was an experience that I didn't share. But as I started sharing with it, other people, I got one too, and I got this and this and that and stuff. But the impact of it was still so raw. I wasn't ready to share it. It was just, if I would have shared it prematurely, I don't think it would have been as beneficial for me and as just as part of letting go, it would have been just kind of throwing up on somebody, or just not really trying to deal with it, you know? So yeah, just making sure, or being clear of where I'm at and why I'm sharing these experiences, and what kind of medicine I basically need for myself.
You had mentioned earlier about someone had shared with you that you have to heal before you're ready to move on to your next whatever it is.
Right.
And like whether it's business wise or relationship wise or whatever, you have to heal. And sometimes you have to do that by yourself. You know, you can't share anything until you've gotten to that point where you heal. So I just think it's dope. Like even at the fact that when you do share things, I feel like we all have a little bit of a different perspective. And like a lot of it is common, but it's just different in different ways, and there's different intricacies and different way that we're sharing it and different stuff like that. So I think that's cool, like to hear other people's perspective, because it can help you shape your own, as long as you really know yourself. I'm not saying you just listen to what everybody say.
All right.
But I think it's dope.
Yeah.
I think it's dope we were able to come together and just talk and stuff and get some stuff off, and hopefully this can be helpful for somebody going forward. And if not, cool. Thanks for listening. But
I appreciate you sharing the DUI shit too. And I say that because, it kind of make me think about, like I said, how we perceive ourselves. And when you told me that shit, I didn't see you no different.
Yeah.
It was just like, damn, like he fucked up, but as long as he don't go to jail. And not trying to be funny or laugh about it, but I was just concerned about how you was doing and if you was good.
Yeah. And my name is Crenshaw. So I'm ready for jail.
I thank you for saying that, though, Mike. I thank you for saying that, because that's important for people to hear that affirmation. That it's okay,
Right.
like you did it. All right, let's figure out what the next move is. Like you good. That's important.
Right. And it's a lot of times just when you open it up to people like that and you get that response, kind of like you were saying, it's a thing of like, okay, I shouldn't be so hard on myself too. It's like you kind of expect other people like, oh goddamn, you did this, or you kind of look at you a certain way. But then a lot of times like, oh okay, yeah, like I know, like I got one of that, I got some other shit I've done too, so it's hard to look down on people like that. So it's cool when you get that response from opening up.
Yeah, it's important. It's important to do.
Yeah.
It's definitely important to do.
Because I can be my worst enemy.
Yeah.
Instead, being alone in my head, where thinking all the things I've done, or even the thoughts I've had, are just the most disgusting, vile things that could ever go through a human's mind. And then sharing them's like, man, me too.
Straight up.
Yeah, that was Tuesday.
Right.
Yeah, it's a powerful thing that I really wish as men would be more normalized. The images that we see, I always see in real life TV media stuff where men don't normally openly share. Like I really would like for it to be a normal thing for men to open and authentically share.
So my question is, just because if that's what you want for people, how did you get here, or really how did we all get here?
I would say I got here, it definitely man, it really feels divine at times, just because of my journey through it. Going to school and choosing psychology as a major, and learning about the psychological process and stuff. But at the same time, outside of school, it was like, I know I wanted more. It was always a sense of I wanted more. My own potential for myself. And even that my insecurities is like, why am I so insecure? Well, there's nothing to be insecure about. So it was that going through that self-discovery process and wanting to know more of who I was. And in the process of me knowing who I was, I had to know who the people around me was. So it was like I'm asking myself questions, and I'm asking my friends, I'm asking my family questions, and they're not always the easiest thing to hear back, but it's like just keep asking questions, because the answers in my head wasn't adding up to my reality. And so I needed to get clarity, like you said again, clarity on like, I know I'm dope, I know I'm talented, I know I'm special. Why am I not where I need to be? So it was that constant, why am I not where I need to be? That why am I not living up to my potential? Why am I not feeling like I'm enough, doing enough, having enough? So all that stuff was there, but then it really brought me to me. So letting go of having enough, doing enough, being enough, and coming back to like, I'm enough. And let me spend time with this enough that I am, this being that I am.
Yeah. It's the thing of like really like risking being hurt almost. It's like you just gotta take that step, like you gotta ask those questions, and like you might not get a good answer back, or you gotta like you might feel dope and all that. You like, oh, let me go try this performance, and fuck, it might not go the best the first time or whatever, but you gotta, it's this thing of just taking that risk of being hurt and kind of just like taking the step anyway. Because I feel like a lot of the shit is just really built up for protection, because it's like we know we'll get hurt in some sense, so it's like I'm not gonna put myself out there to get even more beat up. And so it's sometimes you just got to get to the point where it's like I'm not happy with what this is, like where I'm at right now hurts enough because I'm not expressing myself, I'm not being myself. And so you just kind of got to take that step to be like, I'm gonna put this out there. I mean, I'm not sure what the response will be, and shit, it may suck, but putting it out there is almost as good as whatever response you get back. So.
Right. And
Crenshaw just read my whole life.
And like we were talking about earlier, off air, about quitting a job, where you on a job and you're not really happy with the job, you're not comfortable with the job, but moving on to something else that also seemed uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So it was like, you either gonna stay in this comfort that you have grown accustomed to, or you're gonna leap into a new discomfort that could possibly be your life.
Yeah.
Or lead you to what it is that you actually want to do.
Read my life again. Go ahead, Wayne.
Yeah, it's interesting. I found out a lot. So I quit my job a couple months back, more than a couple months back, and I really feel like taking that step, because I was miserable. When I tell you I was miserable, it wasn't the people I was around. It was just I wasn't where I really genuinely wanted to be, and I just wasn't happy. And I quit my job, and I've been roughing it for the last however many months.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's hard, especially having a wife. It's not easy. I love you, girl. I appreciate you. I'm still doing stuff to make money and different things like that. It's maybe not as much as I was making before, but I'm still making money. But I'm doing what I love to do, and I believe wholeheartedly that something will come out of it. Wholeheartedly, I believe that. But it took years to get there. Like, just to go off of what you were saying, you know what I'm saying? It took years for me to get to a place where I felt comfortable enough within myself to be like, you know what, I can do this.
Yeah.
And I'm not comfortable with where I'm at. I'm not going to be comfortable with where I'm going. And to go back to what you were saying too, James, as far as feeling good about who you are, and I can't remember exactly how you put it, but just getting to a place where it's like I'm good with being myself, and I don't need more, because I feel like everybody can feel like that. Your dream could be to be a millionaire, multi-millionaire, and you get all the money in the world, and you still feel like I haven't accomplished enough. I'm not as much as a humanitarian as I should have been trying to get all of this money. So I'm lacking in this area of life, and we all do it to ourselves. We all beat ourselves up. We all have different situations where we feel like we could have handled it better. We all get depressed sometimes. We all isolate sometimes, and I think it's important to come back to yourself, like you were saying, and just be like, you know what? I get depressed sometimes, and I isolate sometimes, and I don't always handle situations the right way. But I'm okay with that, and I'm gonna figure out how to do it better the next time. And even if the next time isn't that much better, it was a little better than the last time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So just like you, like going on. Everybody in this room is an artist in one way or another, and overcoming stage fright, overcoming the fear of speaking in front of a crowd, overcoming, pursuing whatever, doing comedy, overcoming, just letting people hear what it is that you think. You know what I'm saying? Like just sharing. Because the thing about art is it's really you. You know what I'm saying? That's why we're so passionate or so emotional about it, because it's like I'm really giving you me. Like this is 100% me. And I don't know if I want you to see all of that, you know, but this is really what I want to do. So yeah, once you can get comfortable with that, man, it can change your life. And it's not about being famous. It's not about becoming the richest, wealthiest person in the world. It is about becoming financially free. That's let me say that.
Money.
But yeah, I do need the dough. I need the dough. Pay your boy. Pay your boy. But it's not about being the wealthiest. It's not about being the next Will Smith. Like I just got some headshots done. I'm about to get back into acting again. After years of not doing it, and if I become the next Will Smith, great. If I don't, but I can support my family doing it, I'm good with that too. You know what I'm saying? And I know that it's gonna take a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of time away from the house. It's a lot of time away from my wife. But I understand why I'm doing it. And it's a great place to be. I just said all of that. I don't know why.
Hey man, but you said a lot. Like really, the title of this show is so dope. The Art of Letting Go, because for me that is the art of being uncomfortable. Because I'm always going to be uncomfortable sharing who I am, because it's always going to be a new me coming out. Like, okay, I can comfortably say I got a DUI now, but there's some other stuff in there too that I'm not comfortable yet with coming out. And I think for me, art is finding ways to get it out that I'm comfortable with. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty of it, of finding different ways for me to share who I am, even if I'm not ready. But it's like I have to get it out because it feels so good and it sounds so good and it is so good. So I'm going to be uncomfortable with it, but I still got to get it out.
And that, my friends, is the art of letting go.
Yeah.
Letting go. Letting go. I'm about to, whoever gave you vocal lessons, bro, let me know. Because I'm going to get some vocal lessons and y'all going to be shocked by the 100th episode. That, like, this dude got vocals now. Like, watch. This going to happen. But this is Wayne Bennett.
Mike Brown.
Crenshaw.
James, that yo dude.
And this is the art of letting go.
Hit us up. Let us know what you think. Peace.
Yeah.